Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, my name is Mike Piwowarski. I am coming to you from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A Views, Conservative News. Craig, it's a special day today.
Once again, yes, it is. It is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum.
Raining tacos. That's right, folks. It is raining tacos here on Taco Tuesday. Mike, any special plans for any special tacos today?
Tacos, just tacos, street tacos on the street. Some tacos from out of the sky, tacos. Don't need to ask why.
Well, I do believe we're
Just
going to
open
be
your
going
mouth.
with the pulled pork tacos for dinner this evening.
Oh, family show. There we go.
Yeah.
The tacos are wonderful. I love Taco Tuesday. It's and I can't get that song out of my head half the day. So it's just I walk around and I or drive around mostly and hear that in my head, and I'm seeing taco stands and I'm like,
Exactly. As
maybe
soon as you
that's the
see
lucky one today.
Right.
Maybe
As soon as
that's
you
the
see
lucky
taco
one
truck,
today.
you're like, I got to stop and get at least a taco. Well, you can't get just one.
Yeah, you have to have
at least
a.
two
Yeah, I got to put it on the list.
Right.
Got to see how they fare up. Yeah, and when they're only like this big and $2, you can stop
Right.
and have
See,
just one.
Like I
you know?
said, I remember back in the day when, I mean, now, and I don't know about Florida, but in California, like the food truck is now the chic thing. But back in
Yeah.
the day, man, the taco truck used to be, I mean, that was like the
Yeah.
best kept secret for people who really wanted really, really good tacos.
Oh, you got to know where they are. I mean, no,
Yeah.
no doubt, you got to know where they are. You got to go to the the construction part of town. Is where they're doing a lot of work. If you find a taco truck, over near the port, you're getting $2 tacos, right?
Right.
But if you find it with 7 other food trucks in front of a shopping plaza, you're paying $12 for the same taco. Because
Oh, yeah.
there, you're right. It's a chic taco de street or some crap like that,
Oh yeah. Well, see now, when I was in school at Chico, what the taco trucks would do on the weekends, instead of being out at the construction sites, they would find
Yeah.
their way to like right outside the bars, right around
Yeah.
1:30, 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yep.
Good
No,
stuff.
Orlando's got those guys. They got the hot dog and pretzel guys, and those guys they make a huge amount of money right about 3 a.m. Although I don't want about 100 yards away from them, you don't want to be.
No. no, no,
Yeah.
that right there could be all bad. That could be all bad.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
tastes good going down.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program, letting your friends know this is the place where the conversation about 2A news and conservative views is going on. Let your friends know. They can watch us on YouTube, on Facebook. They can watch us on Spotify or on Ops Lens. They can also listen if they just want to listen to the audio version of the program. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. And when you do that, when you check us out, please make it a point to check out our sponsors.
Yeah, those guys over there, the hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net, best barrels around. If you've got an AR, you can probably have one of their barrels already, but look at them, take a look and see what else you need for your own builds. And also, of course, the California Republican Assembly, fighting the fight behind enemy lines. And if you want that tactical gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These folks make it possible for us to come to you. So do us a favor. Help them, help us, help you.
Helping you, help us, help
There
them.
you go,
Yes,
there you go.
yes, yes.
All right. Let's start off now. This first story is something that I suspected was eventually going to come out eventually. Let's just be real. There is absolutely, positively no way that the White House had no idea that there was a raid that was going to be taking place on Mar-a-Lago on Donald Trump. They denied any involvement. They denied knowing anything about it. And while I do not know if they knew specifically about that raid and that raid was when that raid was going to be taking place, there is now evidence out there that the White House did help facilitate this to happen. And this was according to Just the News. Just the News, right? So they were reviewing documents, and these were memos that were put out, that have been put out by the National Archive, by National Archivists, as well as by the Justice Department. So back in April, when they've been talking with the Trump administration, with the Trump folks, Trump lawyers, about turning over stuff over, and after they handed over 15 boxes of documents back in April, there were memos going back and forth between an attorney for President Biden and the Justice Department, as well as with Trump's attorneys. And basically, what it says was that the President of the United States, in this case Joe Biden, waived privilege. In other words, he's saying we're going to waive privilege for the former president. So he has no claim to privilege any longer for any of these documents, and that opened the door for the grand jury, which would be then the source, or the folks who would then request or issue the subpoena for the documents that they would wind up going to Mar-a-Lago to get. Now, this has got all sorts of issues. Like, number one, what they said in the article is that there is a legal argument that, yes, the current president can waive privilege for a former president, although that generally does that. And there have been instances where it's happened, but usually not without the permission of the former president. That was number one. But the other thing was, and this is one of the things that Dershowitz talked about in this piece, he said, you can't waive privilege for a former president against an administration that's actually coming after them. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah. Bring that back up again, Craig, and just goes back to the top. There's a quote there right at the top from the National Archivist that I want to point out, all the way to the top. Keep going. There you go. This is from Deborah Stidell. She wrote, "I have therefore decided not to honor the former president's protective claim of privilege." You don't get to do that. You absolutely don't get to do that. Only the individual that's claiming the privilege can waive the privilege, or you must have a judge or a court say the privilege is not valid. They must decide on the privilege if you have a claim. It's you can absolutely not do what they've done. Now, Craig, they say that the President Biden, was the one that accepted, I guess, the National Archivist's claim of privilege not being valid. So I guess when the National Archivist said it's not valid, then President Biden said it's not valid, and then they sent the henchmen over to search former President Trump's estate. Well, my question, Craig, is I thought, was it yesterday's news that Biden had no idea what was going on, that they shielded him from this so he would be not complicit in this? So they can't have it both ways, Craig. They really need to check their stories before they release them. Either he had knowledge of this incident and didn't excuse the privilege, or he did have knowledge and excuse the privilege like he did today. So which is it, White House? Are you lying yesterday or are you lying today? I'm not sure which one it is.
Well, exactly, because it says right here, White House Deputy Counsel Jonathan Su was engaged in conversations with the FBI, DOJ, and the National Archives as early as April. So they knew. I mean, so he can't say he didn't know, especially when it was the National Archivist who tells the president, and the president says, "Well, I'm going to waive privilege." You're telling me you're going to waive privilege of a former president and then just be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Now,
It's not their privilege to waive. It's not
exactly.
President Biden's or this administration's privilege to waive. It's the privilege of the previous president.
Well,
only he gets to waive that privilege, or a court saying that the privilege has been, applied incorrectly.
Well, now, once again, according to the article, it's not unprecedented, but it's generally not common when they don't give permission. And especially, once again, if I'm the one coming after you, the current president, if I'm the one that's trying that if it's my administration that is trying to catch you in a crime, I definitely have a conflict of interest and should not have the right to be able to waive your privilege.
This is like some crazy Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff, right? Like, I have a magic shield to protect me. They roll the dice. No, it's not valid. Like, what? What are you talking about? It's just, your shield is no good. You must face the devil.
If you're going to throw in the Dungeons and Dragons and the dice roll, then they have to be loaded dice.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because this wasn't random.
Yeah. And for the record, listen, the only thing I know about Dungeons and Dragons I saw in The Big Bang Theory. That's all I know about it. So
it involves dice.
Yes, and them saying crazy things like my shield doesn't work. That's it. I remember that. I remember that episode. So
yes. So folks,
So be it.
I'm telling you right now. So right now, just the news is the only ones that have been reporting this, but you're going to start to see it. It's going to start to become a part of first conservative media. You'll see them talking about it, like we're talking about it right here. Eventually, what will happen is once they come up with some sort of a convoluted explanation or cover story, is when you'll probably hear about this in the mainstream media, if at all. But suffice it to say, this is going to be part of an investigation, because you know that once Republicans take over the House, that there are going to be investigations into this stuff, and the DOJ and the White House are going to have to answer for this.
Yes, they will, and then it'll be sit back and enjoy time, because Craig, that'll probably hit right around election time.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. So fun, good times. Definitely looking forward to Democrats being held. Well, as much as anyone in Washington D.C. is held accountable for anything, at least they'll be hopefully publicly embarrassed.
Well, you would think, right? You would think, but they all walk around with that dumb look like Adam Schiff has on his face all the time. You know, that they're like, am I in the right place? Am I supposed to be here? You know, that kind of look, you know?
Oh yeah. What's that forever saying? We got him.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Speaking of we got him, Liz Cheney. All right. So this lady, she is the gift that keeps on giving. And I don't understand why people don't understand, why in particular Democrats do not understand why Republicans don't like her. And here's the thing. Liz Cheney is by the positions that she has taken on issues, she is probably in the top 95% of conservatives when in the House of Representatives. The problem is that Liz Cheney has allowed her Trump derangement syndrome, her hatred of Donald Trump, she's allowed that to cause her to do things that, number one, helped elect Joe Biden to be our president, and we all know he's no conservative, and it helped Democrats to be able to seize control of the U.S. Senate, which we also know is Democrats controlling the Senate is not conservative, and thus have been able to implement all sorts of liberal left-wing policies that have put our country in the position that it is currently in. Well, now she is continuing in her BS by instituting, or she is creating, a political action committee that is specifically going to target GOP candidates or Republican candidates who support Donald Trump, or at the very least, who are not interested in fighting against President Trump because they agree with him on the issues. They may not like his personality. They may like his personality. Who knows? Who cares? Some of them may be really tight with him. Some of them may not necessarily be. Some of them may like his policies. And by the way, if you simply believe that he is being mistreated and that what they're doing is wrong, which by the way it is, she is going to raise money to oppose you. Now, this mic reminds me of the now, I don't know if they are defunct, but it is an organization called the Lincoln Project, which actually is basically it's a group of jackasses in elephant suits, former Republican consultants who just basically wanted to make some money off of George Soros by opposing Republican candidates. That's who she is now. That is the sort of group that she is trying to create through this new political action committee.
Yeah, this is another act of a bitter woman, right? That's what, and I don't mean bitter like only women can be bitter. I mean this is TDS at its maximum, right? This is I'm so obsessed with what Donald Trump does, and I hate every second of it. That I'm going to cloud my own judgment. I'm going to do things I wouldn't normally do because I hate him. Listen, if you take a look and you take the tweets out of it, right, and what you don't like about what he says, and look at, everything that Donald Trump did, I think every conservative out there is 80 or 90% in agreement with him, right? And the other bad part that if you don't like the tweets, or if you do like the tweets, that's only 10, 20%. You just ignore it, all right? You're never going to get above an 80% anywhere of somebody that you agree with, right? And if you do, it's probably a clone, right? A little clone humor, sorry. So you're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. 80%'s it. And she can't deal with another 10, 20%, Craig. She can't. It eats them up. It eats up people with TDS. It drives them crazy that they will go and oppose their own ideology to fight that 20%. She's willing to fight her own 80% because she doesn't agree with that 20%. What do I mean by that, folks? She is one of the people that contributed to the loss of re-election of Donald Trump because she fought against him so hard. Look what the other 10 are doing. Her actions are partially to blame for destroying the country the way it is right now. All right. Because she fought against the president and took those, that 1-2% of the vote away from him that made up the difference. Okay.
Well, exactly.
She is the nation.
You hit the nail on the head.
She's more of the nation's enemy than Biden is.
Oh, no, I agree. She is because like you said, she literally fought against her own values, right? What she claimed her own values to be. And that's the worst part. That's what makes her, in my opinion, like you said, worse than Biden is because at least Biden believes in the stuff that he is propagating. She, on the other hand, claims to not support the stuff that Biden is propagating, yet she empowered him.
Yeah.
So, no, Liz Cheney, you're done in the Republican Party. Nobody who seriously considers themselves a conservative would support you because, once again, you've allowed your personal feelings to get in the way of good policy, period. And it does no good if your policies are good. If your personal feelings are allowed to then trump that and get it, and once it can get in the way and put us in the position that we are as a nation. I'm sorry, Liz Cheney, but bye-bye. And she's fighting, by the way, to stay relevant. That's what's so funny. It's like, why don't you just leave?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you make like a tree and go home?
Yeah, but so folks, I once again, I do not consider her to be a rhino. I consider because rhino is Republican in name only. I believe her. Yeah. I believe she has conservative positions. I just think that the problem is she's a sellout, is what she is.
Right. She's a TDS. She's a sellout. That's the difference. Yes. There's a difference between a rhino and a TDS sellout. She's a TDS sellout.
Right. Now Romney is a rhino.
Yes. Always been such.
He always has been, and he thinks because he's an upper crust, conservative white male. He thinks that automatically makes him a conservative, but half the time he is espousing and supporting policies that are inconsistent with what we believe as Republicans, and but because he says it in a blue suit with a white shirt on with a red tie, we think that makes him a conservative. He's not a liberal, but he definitely ain't a conservative.
Worst of all for me, he's an establishment sloppy person, establishment person that enjoys selling their body out. How about that? He'll go anywhere. He'll go to Massachusetts to run. He'll go to Utah to run. He'll go to the national to run. He doesn't care. He wants to be that career, lifelong swamp donkey and just sit in there and suck it up.
Well, and by the way,
he is the problem with the country.
And by the way, that's the same thing you can say of Liz Cheney. She did. Yes. She was not born and raised in Wyoming. Let's put it that way. Right. That is not her home.
Yep.
She moved there to run.
But her dad has a cowboy hat.
Right. He also shot someone in the face, which is, I understand, a very Wyoming thing to do.
That I really don't have a problem with. Yeah, I really don't have a problem with the shooting somebody in the face part.
A friend in the face?
That's how you make policy. That's
how you make policy. Shoot people in the face.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It wasn't like a fatal shot. Come on, it just peppered him a little. It just peppered him.
Spoken like someone who's done that before. All right. So we all know that mayors of several big cities like New York and Washington, D.C., are now lamenting and demanding that the federal government assist them with the massive waves of hundreds of immigrants who have been appearing in their cities as as they've been shipped there from southern states. Those states that are dealing with hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants on a monthly basis. The mayor of Washington, D.C., continues to request that the National Guard send troops in order to help protect the citizens of Washington, D.C. Interestingly enough, the Pentagon is still continuing to tell Mayor Muriel Bowser, no, go jump in a lake. We will not be sending you any troops because, well, you don't need them. And part of it was initially they turned her down because it was kind of an open-ended request and there was no direct mission or in terms of when it was going to be ending. This time they just flat out told her to go jump in a lake.
Yeah, this is, like you said, the second request, and she wants 1,000 National Guard troops, Craig, right? And she's only gotten a couple hundred migrants there, and same as New York. They want to make it sound like, Texas has sent them 500,000 people, and they've only gotten a couple hundred in each location, and already it's overwhelmed their free systems that they have there. Listen, Bowser there, she's got 200 people there, and she wants 1,000 National Guard troops. Are they going to cater to them? What are they going to do? They're going to put them up in a hotel, and one's the bellman and one's the servant, and I don't get why she wants such a giant number to cater for these 100 people. Come on, you've got shelters, right? You got your soup kitchens, all these great things that you provide to your poors, right? To make yourself feel better. Oh, we provide to the poors and we give them all the services they need. Now, when you've actually got a couple hundred people that need them, you're overwhelmed. Oh, guess what? Guess your charity ran out, huh?
Well, because they're not about See, they want to be, in theory, they want to be a sanctuary city, open to undocumented and the unwashed. In theory, that's a great idea. In practicality, when you actually have to pay the bill, it all of a sudden then becomes an issue, right? That's the problem, is now you have cities like that who are like, wait a minute, we're having a hard enough time taking care of our own folk, and now you just want to send us, like I said, hundreds of other people. Right. Well, yep. You know what? Tell you what, change your sanctuary policy, because the localities that are being selected by the folks who are busing them are places that are cities and counties and states that have said, oh yeah, we're a sanctuary. Just come on in. We'll take care of you. Well, some people are going to take you up on your word when you put out that invitation.
Yeah. You get places like New York and DC in particular this time. They tout the charity that they give away, right? Here's what we're doing, as far as our own homeless population here in the city. And we give up, soup kitchens, and we've got hot shelters if on a snowy night. You ever notice, Craig, it's always just enough. It's just enough to put in your political headline, right? Oh, we believe in charity and we do this. And they claim it every time. When's the last time you saw a conservative or somebody on the other side talk about the charity that they give away? We don't. And it's not because we don't give away charity. It's because charity is not meant to be publicized. You do it because it's the right thing to do. You don't do it because it's a political ad. They do just enough of it to get in the newspaper. And when somebody really needs it, they turn their back on them, just like's going on now. They want somebody else to pay the bill. That's why she's calling the National Guard.
But Mike, the problem is that giving away other people's money is not charity. And that's what they're doing in these programs. Right. These are not individuals who are giving out of their own pocket in order to support these efforts. These are politicians who are taking money from taxpayers, taking a cut for themselves and then putting it into a program that supposedly is supposed to be benefiting the less fortunate, but never actually does it. Because if they actually really helped the less fortunate and actually really got rid of the less fortunate, then they wouldn't have a reason to take the taxpayers' money anymore.
Yeah. Let me clarify that, Craig, because you are correct. When the conservative does it, it's out of their pocket. All right, whether it's money or whether it's effort, they do it by themselves, and there's no publicity to it. When the liberal does it, it's out of the taxpayer's pocket, right? And it's for publicity's sake, and it's for campaigning. It's a completely different thing.
Right.
It's
just to be clear, there is a group that does studies every year, and every year after year, it is found that those who live in red states give a greater percentage of their income to charity than do those in blue states. Hands down.
Yeah.
Every year since they've been measuring it.
It's true.
So
very true. Very true.
What we don't believe in as conservatives, we believe in charity. We believe in helping the less fortunate, the elderly, the children, the sick and the infirmed. What we don't believe in is forcibly taking money from people to go to a government program that is not only not going to be effective, but is not even going to get all the money.
Yeah. You know what that makes me? It makes me the sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah.
Yeah, you're Nottingham getting my money. You're not getting my money.
Yeah. I'm going to take your money forcibly from you and then give it to the people I want to give it to. I'm the sheriff of Nottingham. Yep.
Exactly. And, but that's probably one of the reasons why, according to polls, 75% of those polled are basically saying that America is heading in the wrong direction. Now, Mike, what makes this story even more interesting is that, like, this right direction, wrong direction, this is the longest that this has ever been the case. I mean, we're talking the deepest into a new presidency that this has ever been the case. And then you have the greatest percentage of people who are like, yeah, no, we're headed in the wrong direction. You have people who, once again, in the same NBC poll are saying that America is 55% of Americans are not just disapproving of the job, but you've got a majority of Americans who believe that our best days are behind us. Once again, this is all a result of Joe Biden's presidency. Mike, it is so bad that 61% of Californians don't want Joe Biden to run again. 61% of Californians. I mean, this is the land of fruits and nuts, right? This is a place where we elected Jerry Brown not once, but twice, right? If we don't want you as a left-wing liberal, wow.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Listen, the fascinating thing I find about this study is it says 75% think we're going in the wrong direction, and 55% disapprove of the job the president's doing. So those other 20% do they not know who the president is, or are they still blaming Trump? Are we still doing that? Is this TDS right? Like more the Liz Cheney? Almost 2 years later, we're still blaming him.
Well, there's only about 13 or 17% who believe the president is doing a good job, and all I can guess is they're smoking some really good weed.
Yeah, right. These are the ones I think that, again, 75% think that the country's going in the wrong direction, but only 55% disapprove of the policy the president's doing. So that means there's 20% of the people that are walking around out there right now, Craig, that have no idea how the country works at all. The 20% of them think that those two things are separate completely, that the job the president does and the ratings and the direction the country is going are completely different. They think it's things like, Dr. Fauci who run the country, right? Or what my soap operas tell me, or my neighbor's dog was barking. I know that's the reason. That's what really gets me about this. There's 20% of the people out there right now that have never had a freaking clue how things work.
Well, yes and no, because I think some of them realize that a lot of this stuff is happening at the state level. Like when I think about all the problems we're having here in California, a lot of it, I hate to say this, it's thanks to our current Gavin Mussolini and our Democrat-controlled legislature. What you're right about is that there's a disconnect between the people they put in office, not just the president, but the people in general that they put in office, and the policies. That's why you have people who are leaving California because they can't afford to live here anymore, moving to states like Tennessee or Texas or Arizona or Nevada, and then electing the same left-wing idiots to public office, and then wondering, why can't I afford to live here in this new state?
Yeah, Craig, I apologize. I forget that you don't have one of the members of the Avengers as your governor like we do here in Florida.
Yeah,
you got the anti-hero there.
But it's more like Bizarro World over here.
You're right. The pain you're feeling in California is the same pain we're feeling elsewhere. So I guess in California they just hate your local government more than they do your federal government. So, yeah. But listen, the reason California is getting so bad is because the feds keep letting them do it more and more. Remember how President Trump tried to hold them accountable? Oh, you want money for your forest fires? How about you get off your ass and get your forestry division working once in a while and clear those forests out?
Oh, see, there you go with that whole accountability thing. You sound like such a right-wing wacko.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to our parting shot, shall we? And this, by the way, I think this next one really kind of fits with our whole conversation, this first one. Elections are coming up, folks, and I think it's time that we held those in power accountable, right? So let's take a look at the success rates of our Democrat-controlled legislative branch and executive branch. So 18 months with 100% Democrat power. We have the highest gas prices in history, highest inflation in 40 years, recession, tax hikes, tax hikes, and then adding 87,000 IRS agents, wars everywhere, open border with millions pouring in, 2.5 million last year, and probably we're going to break those records again this year. Now, Democrat midterm voters are now about to say, please give us more of this. Really? Are you guys really about to do that, Democrat midterm voters? Please tell me no.
Craig, the only thing I would say is it's 66% power that the Democrats have. If they really had 100% of the power, you and I wouldn't even be doing this program. We'd have been.
We're talking. I'm assuming you are referring to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, what was funny was actually in the last election, Republicans overall increased their numbers. We actually increased our numbers in the House. We lost. Yeah. We didn't lose as bad as we thought we were going to in the Senate because the numbers were against us. And even in Republican state houses, as well as governor's mansions, Republicans actually increased their numbers in the last election.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Yeah.
This next one kind of goes along with the whole, Mar-a-Lago thing, and it is amazing because if you really think back all the way back to 2015, how many times have we heard the liberal left wing, in particular in the media, say, "We got him now"? I feel like it's Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner, and it never ends any differently, except it always blows up in their face. And yet and still, they never stop.
They all the time, right? Oh, we got him. We're gonna raid Mar-a-Lago. We got him.
For those of you who are
firing on us bad.
Yeah, for those of you who are just listening, it's got from 2015 all the way through to 2020, and each year has a different left-wing media personality saying we got him now. You've got Joe Scarborough, you've got Mario Cuomo, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, and the rest of the left-wing folks. they just remind me. I'm looking at them, and it reminds me of that old, like I said, the old Roadrunner cartoons where he used to say, "I'm Wile E. Coyote, super genius."
Super genius. Every time I see that Rachel Maddow picture, I think, man, who's that comedian that said she's an angry little boy? I don't know why she's so mad all the time.
Is that Bill Burr?
So, yeah.
Okay.
She's the angriest little boy in politics, angriest little boy in the news media. But
yeah. Oh,
and making fun of her haircut, folks. If you've never seen Rachel Maddow, she's got a like a young boy's haircut, I guess.
Yes. And okay, so this one I actually it's actually kind of funny, and this because it actually also goes along with the whole concept of what is going on, and the very fact that Democrats will support anybody who's anti-Trump, right? Anybody who is anti-Trump. That's why they keep talking about, oh, we love Liz Cheney, we love Liz Cheney, the Democrat media. Now, those very same folks. This is a picture of a little girl looking kind of befuddled as this says, "Me watching the left go from defund the police to support your local FBI." Now, Mike, I have to say this, 'cause I feel the same exact way when I hear conservatives go from, support the police to defund the FBI.
Yeah, right. Well, and I believe the point is with the FBI is that it's been corrupted, is what they're trying to say. So I don't think it's get rid of the FBI. I think it's clean the swamp in the FBI and get rid of the corruption in the FBI. That's the sentiment, not get rid of the agency completely. Now, that one I think we probably need to keep. Half a dozen of the other federal agencies, get rid of them. I'm fine with that.
Right. At the very least, we need to identify both the political as well as the career bureaucrats who have proven that they are biased and can no longer be trusted with the blind application of justice.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
And I think people who deny that that's the case, you just have to look at how things have been handled differently in changing administrations. And by the way, Donald Trump was operating with an FBI that was out to get him.
Yeah.
No doubt. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe it was justified. They believe it was justified, but they were out to get him.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
it was
Mike.
Directed to get him. Let's be clear. It wasn't just out to get him. It was directed to get him. So.
Oh, yeah. It was. They were. Well, while they were out to get him while he was president. Once he left office, then they were directed by the president to get him.
Yeah. Yep. Very much so.
Right.
Very much so. All right, let's hit them sponsors one last time. Let's do it over there at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Go take care of all your barrel needs. The California Republican Assembly. They are fighting a good fight behind the Iron Curtain out there. And, of course, you need that tactical gear. Get with our folks at uscombatgear.com.
All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's episode of The Rundown. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking, sharing, and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow for more conversation on 2A News and conservative views on Hump Day.
Hump Day.